Brian Fisher, welcome to episode 2 of 15-Minute Marketing.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, no, it's great to have you on the show as well, because we know each other really well.
We do indeed.
And I think a lot of the Cornish business community will know you as well, because you're a great networker. We network together. We network together.
We do collaborate well. Yeah.
Many different places, Chamber, your partnerships, and others as well. So Southwest Business Connections, we do all of that. But a lot of people know, and you talk a lot about your digital offering. But today I wanted to focus a little bit on your print offering, because I don't think a lot of people talk about print these days, do they, a lot?
No, they don't. A lot of people think that digital is the only option.
Exactly.
And there's a real positive for it.
Yeah,
of course, in certain situations.
So you're from Newsquest, and people know that, may not know Newsquest, but they will know the packet.
Yeah, that's right.
So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to ask Shane to hit go on the 15-minute mark, and we're going to get into it, and we're going to talk proper print. So Shane, hit the 15 minutes if you could, buddy. Thank you very much. So Mr. Brian Fisher, tell me, because a lot of people have opinions on print, and they think it's dying. Tell me why it's not.
Okay, it depends what you want to get out of your advertising.
Yes.
As to whether you do print, digital, or an amalgamation of the two.
Yeah.
And there is certain situations for where the benefits far outweigh the other in certain things. With print, the actual newspaper titles are reducing year on year.
Yeah.
You know, usually about 9 to 10% a year is the reduction people look at in newspaper. But in regard to specialist magazines, in regard to newspaper brand awareness, then print definitely has a place in marketing budgets of people in Cornwall and throughout the UK.
I agree. I agree with that. I mean, I'm a print guy. I started my career years ago back at Cornwall Living, and I fully buy into print. But a lot of people have this opinion that it is kind of dying, and I don't agree with that. And I like the titles that you come up, because it's not just the packet that you guys do anymore, is it? You've got Cornwall Home and Garden, and tell us a bit more about some of the other titles that you've got.
Okay, well, we've got the 3 packet newspapers, which cover Falmouth, Helston, and The Packet. So it predominantly covers the majority of the TR postcodes in Cornwall for the newspaper. We also have Cornwall Home and Garden, which is a luxury aspirational magazine that covers the whole of Cornwall.
Yeah.
Southwest Farmer, which is an agricultural farming publication which
Amazing.
goes throughout the 5 counties. So Cornwall, Devon, Somerset, Dorset, and a bit of Wiltshire as well.
All the farming counties then?
All the farming counties, yes. I don't know how well it would do in London, but in the farming regions, it works really, really well. Yeah. We have over 11,000 subscribers to Southwest Farmer magazine. So, you know, that paper each month drops on the doormat of a farming community, the actual agricultural workers, and when they sit down and have their crib, which is, you know, a good Cornish break at around about 10 o'clock in the morning, when they sit down to have that, you know, and the Argos go in the kitchen, they will pick up Southwest Farmer and read it. So, but we also do a lot of specialist publications as well in print.
Yeah.
We've been asked to do a lot of publications recently. So we're just about to do the souvenir program for Stithian Show, which is about to go virtual for July 2021. We're also bringing out a magazine called Eco Cornwall, which is linked to the G7 Summit, but it's also to do with environmental and ecological. And again, just to what you're saying about print dying, those sort of magazines, publications, you reach or talk to a different audience when you're talking about that. So we're talking to a lot of organisations to do with environments, agencies and ecology companies, and the readership of that will be different as well. The dynamics will be different to people reading that magazine compared to Cornwall Home and Garden magazine. Sure. So there is it depends where you want to be, who you want to target. And I know people laugh at targeting because they say, how can you target with print?
Yeah.
Digital, you can definitely target.
Yes.
But with print, you can target, because you wouldn't go into Cornwall Home and Garden magazine if you were aiming for quick volume value sales. You'd be going in there for your Argos, your wood burners, your quality curtains, interior designs, and all that.
The
sort of
ABC
thing.
One type demographic.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course. And that is important with print to note as well, I think. And you guys do this brilliantly in the fact that you have brought out these different titles which have a niche to them, which allows businesses to target. So, I mean, as you were saying, example there, another example, if you were selling quality drapes and babies' clothing, you wouldn't put it in Southwest Farmer.
Correct.
But you potentially would put it in Cornwall Home and Garden.
Absolutely. The thing that we would say is that marketplaces change. Now, we've had this terrible pandemic for the last 12 months now.
Have we? I didn't notice.
Didn't notice that one.
Didn't notice that
it passed you
one,
by, did it? But it's a situation that one of the types of businesses that has continued for that 12 months at full pace, and rightly so, because they produced meat products, where they put milk and vegetables, etc., is the farming community.
They have, yeah.
They have
very true.
carried on throughout this, and a big thank you to those people as well.
I agree.
That work
They kept
hours
us all
and
fed,
hours.
haven't they?
Absolutely.
At the end of the day.
So Southwest Farmer magazine, publication paper, which goes out each month, hasn't seen a downturn at all,
Wow.
due to the fact that that community has continued to work. They continue to need fertiliser, farm buildings, tractor servicing, etc.
of
All
course.
those sort of things. But the big thing as well is we've found that because it's been going so well for the last 12 months, other businesses have tried to come in and advertised within it, because they realise that they can promote their products to people that are still working and still earning the money.
Well, I suppose it's the whole supply chain as well, because farmers will need the likes of insurance, and they'll need life insurance and other covers and stuff like that. And going on the other side, they'll need financial advice. They'll need all of this kind of thing. So it doesn't necessarily have to be products that are directly related to farming. It can be other services that they would need as farmers, like the rest of us would, having a business.
Very much so. Yeah, a friend of mine does the rates for your rateable buildings, etc.
Yeah.
And what he has done is he's advertised in Southwest Farmer due to the fact that it's a case that he's going to farmers who have these farmhouses that are classed as a higher banding.
Sure.
He's then checked whether they should be in that banding, realised they're in a lower, and saved them money.
Yeah.
So, yes, you're absolutely right. The diversity of people advertising in set publications is massive now. But going back to newspaper advertising, if you've got a brand, a sale coming on, you've got a new opening, especially with pubs now going to be opening very, very soon, thank goodness. It's a situation that newspaper advertising is perfect for that, because you put a big splash in the paper, you can actually get it. So when people are reading the news, which everyone is reading at the moment with, online, our newspaper is getting over 1 million page views a month.
Wow.
At the moment.
I must admit, I do pick up on the packet newspapers, kind of news articles quite regularly, actually, because I'm always looking for alternative news and ways in which to pick up local news particularly. And yours is always really strong. It always seems to have really good interaction, and people seem to generally have quite positive comments about it as well, which is generally...
It is. You're absolutely right. I mean, newspaper online will always have people that will want to vent anger at something, because we all have different opinions about different things. But you're absolutely right. One thing that we do strive for with our editorial teams at the packet newspapers is that good quality local editorial. We don't go in for, let's put a story out there to see if we can get more people to like it or to follow it. We don't do that. We want to just report on good news stories throughout the local community so that people can read it. And on the back of that, because we're getting such positive reviews from our editorial, advertisers are getting the benefit of that as well by advertising with a quality, newsworthy product.
It's the thing, isn't it? I mean, I talked about it with Floss on the episode 1 as well, about the 3 M's. Okay, that your target market, your message, and then your medium. And a lot of people now and a lot of marketeers talk about print almost like it's dying off, as we've said, and that don't associate as much of your budget towards print as you used to. But going forward, I think if you got these publications which are very targeted, particularly if you're locals, obviously you want to target locals, it's the packet. If you want to target people in the kind of ABC1 or the more affluent demographic, you've obviously got Cornwall Home and Garden. If you want to target farmers, if you want to target people that are interested in the environment and the ecological magazine that you guys have got, it does have a place. But what have you got any kind of hints and tips for people about how to get the most from that? Is it about the messaging?
It is. You've got to. The big thing that we find is that we do training sessions as this on a regular basis. Even though the sales team are fantastic that we've got, you still have to keep reinforcing the point that we don't just take advertising for the sake of taking advertising. Because if somebody's going to spend money with us, it needs to work.
Of course.
So what we do is we give advice about advertising as well, which is if you're going to put if you think you know your brand. We're not talking Coca-Cola here. We're talking Bob's Gazebos. If Bob's Gazebos brand, he knows it and he's created it, or his brother's created it for him, he'll put his name in, his logo in, and his telephone number, and he'll expect to get phone calls from it. Why? Why would somebody want to call Bob's Gazebos if you haven't told them anything about it? You always need a call to action.
Of course you do.
Every advertising you do, especially in print, is a call to action. So, for example, if a store is doing a 50% sale because it's Mother's Day,
Yeah.
and they're doing, I mean, why would you reduce your price for Mother's Day? But you wouldn't, but go with me on this one. If they were doing a 50% sale because it's Mother's Day, then they need to put in their advertising 50% sale on this week. If you come in and mention this, or if you come in and do something. So having a call to action is the big thing. Putting down a friendly local firm, that's lovely. But there's no call to action, because I'm hoping that all firms are friendly and local.
Well, you'd assume that as being a minimum, wouldn't
so
you?
you have to have a real call to action. Why would somebody want to call you? So whenever you're doing any advertising, always think to yourself, why would somebody look at that and call me or come in and see me? It's
almost like, what problem are you solving? Is that's the one that I always get told by people, and this is what we tell our clients at Big Box as well. Because I think billboards in print are quite similar in a way.
Yeah, very much.
You've got to have that kind. It's traditional for a start, but you've got to have that kind of call to action. That kind of, why should they get in touch with you? What problem did they know, or maybe they didn't know that they had, that your product or service can actually solve? And I think getting that right is really important. And it's about talking to an expert, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, if I drove past Truro railway station, where you've got those wonderful billboards there in a great position, is if I just saw big box advertising and your telephone number on it, I'd probably think, that's an advertising agency. I don't really know what you're doing. Yes. But if I saw big box advertising on there as the name, because I need to know what the name is, but there was a call to action on there that said, you can have this space for, X amount of pounds for, November and December of 2021, I'd suddenly think, oh, wow, that's a good price for getting in front of it. Or we can put you in front of, how many people can you put in front of Mike?
Well, that's a very good question at the moment with COVID. The footfall is down slightly, but the amazing thing is, us like you, I mean, you were saying about Southwest Pharma being really busy, we've been really busy as well, because people know the value in getting their brand in front of people.
Correct.
And I think this is why we're similar, this is why we get on, and this is why I wanted you on the show, because we know each other really well, is that actually what we do is quite similar.
Yeah,
but we're not competing, we're almost complementing each other, because we're different mediums. And I mean, that kind of leads on to my next question almost, and probably one of my last, is how important do you think it is to have a spread across the marketing mix, across different mediums?
Absolutely. It's the old adage, isn't it? And it's, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
I would not say to somebody, just do a digital campaign on its own. Don't do a print campaign on its own. Don't just do billboard advertising.
Yeah.
Don't just get a video made for yourself, etc., through the Cornwall channel. It's a situation that what you would do is you would actually have a mix, a plethora of advertising, so that you might be wanting brand awareness with paper. You might want to have targeted at, a family with 2 children with a household over £300,000 or something like that, and you want to target those. You've got to have a mix, because you never know where you're going to find that business. It could be in a magazine, it could be in a newspaper, it could be the billboard, it could be through your video, through Facebook, etc. So working in collaboration, which I know myself and yourself and Shane Solomon at the Cornwall channel, we all work very closely together to give our Cornish audience what they deserve and what they need. In, like I said, a multitude of products.
I think it's about giving the right advice to clients as well, because a lot of the time, we know in Cornwall that not all of them have a marketing consultant or a marketing manager.
No, they don't.
They can't afford it necessarily. They're business owners. They're very good at what they do. We talk about Bob's Gazebos as the hypothetical, company. A gazebo company couldn't afford a marketing manager. He's a business owner. He's very good at putting up gazebos, providing that service, but he might not be so good at marketing. So I think different to other areas of the country where they've got big, massive agencies working for them and things like that. With us, we have to be consultative as salespeople when we're talking to them about our advertising options, and not be afraid to tell them no if we don't think it's going to work for them. And that's how reputations are.
No, I agree totally. And like I said, we do have people that will phone up and say, I want to put an advert in the newspaper, and that's their opening gambit. And we have to stop them and just say, let's find out about your business. What do you want to achieve with your business? What are your goals, your aims? How long is it going to take you, etc., to get there?
Yeah.
And then we will design a package to suit that.
Of course. And that's why we work together, because there's often times when I haven't got anything that's right for a client, quite easily take their money, but I don't a lot of the time, because I want that client to come back to me when the time's right. And you would be able to help that client, whereas I wouldn't be able to, so I pass them over.
Exactly.
And likewise, do the same. And same with Shane as well, because the importance of video content, and the Cornwall channel do that very, very well. That's important for the social media. And that's something else, obviously, I know that you guys do. And that's why you work with Shane, because he can often create some really nice video artwork to use on a social media targeting campaign.
Yeah, we worked with the Cornwall channel on the Foy Shellfish Company.
Yeah.
Let's put my teeth in.
It's a bit shellfish of you, Brian.
It is, thank you.
I'm gonna stop talking.
So Foy Shellfish Company, and Shane Solomon, our Cornwall channel, did a video for that. We put it onto Facebook and on our website as well, the news channel website. And the actual responses we've got from that has been phenomenal, because video on social media really does grab attention.
Oh, they pick you up on the algorithms, don't they? And they kind of put you up. I'm going to have to stop you, Brian, in a minute, because we're literally coming up to the 15-minute mark. We've been talking long enough. Hopefully people have got to know you a little bit better, and get to like you as much as we do as well at 15-minute mark at Big Box. And we'll put your details in the chat, Brian. So Brian Fisher from Newsquest and Local IQ, thank you very, very much for coming on 15-minute marketing.
Thank you very much indeed. Thanks, Mike.
See you soon.